Hi there, my name is Landon Davis, and this is my final project for Harvard's CSCIE 88 course in Big Data Processing. My goal for this project was to stand up a completely containerized big data pipeline with at least 3 tiers: a collection tier, a messaging tier, and an indexing tier that will allow for quick search, retrieval, and enable later visualization using tools like Kibana. I really wanted to try and do as much as I could in containers so I could develop locally but be able to simulate deployment and even distribution. For example, I decided to deploy my indexing tier as a 3-node cluster using 3 separate containers. Docker Compose allows me to write all my application environments in configuration files, and I really like the idea of being able to deploy my pipeline from scratch anywhere. I also simulated my big data source by choosing to use web server logs as the source. I should go ahead and warn you that this is a text-heavy demonstration since I haven't had time to add on a 4th tier for visualization. I'd like to do that in the near future now that I got my data flowing. So I have my containers composed. You can see that they're running. So there's a web server container running an Apache web server that's mapped to the host 8080 port that would generate access logs into a shared volume where the Flume agent running in its own container will source from and connect it into Pulsar, also running in its own container on the same network. Finally, Pulsar will post each log entry to an index in the Elasticsearch cluster, which I've also exposed to the host so we can query that index. Now I also have some local Java clients that I wrote to help me develop and test connections. One of those clients is a Pulsar consumer that will subscribe to the weblogs topic that Flume is hitting and print any messages to standard out. This will show us that a log entry has been picked up by Flume and successfully processed and broadcasted by Pulsar before it's sent to Elasticsearch. This is a good way to see the raw message output, which I've configured the web server to format as JSON. So we're going to go ahead and start that consumer. Make sure we can connect. And we are connected and we are subscribed to our topic in Pulsar. So now, as far as triggering the weblog entry, it's pretty straightforward since it's a web server. We just need to go to our local host. And the successful return of my test page means I've successfully hit my web server. So now if we check our local Pulsar consumer, we can confirm if it made it into the topic. And yes, there it is. So there's our weblog entry that has gone through Flume and into the Pulsar topic. So finally we can query the Elasticsearch index that I have all this going into. To make this a little more visually appealing, I'm going to use Postman. So first let's check our index, see if there are any entries. We have 1 entry and it does appear to match the time of our request and the source. And we can also query the mapping that was implicitly created when the Pulsar sync created the document. There you have it. And just like that, we've stood up a data pipeline that's gone from data source through collection, messaging, and into our indexing tier where we were able to see with the Elasticsearch API. And that's it. Thank you very much.